I have no intro ideas. That's the intro. What's good everyone on YouTube? It's me again, back with another video. And to kind of go off on a completely weird direction, we're not actually talking about a Converse today. We are talking about a knockoff Converse. So, sort of akin to something like Revenge Storm with those fake knockoff Vans. We've got xVESSEL, which is another brand that has made its name basically ripping off the iconic Converse design. However, you know, while I really didn't like the Revenge Storms, and I've actually held a pair in hand, the quality was kind of rubbish. This particular silhouette I feel like changes enough to make it its own unique thing, and everything about it was fairly premium, dare I say. I know a lot of designers these days seem to be just kind of like taking Converse's iconic look and just messing it up. We have those Maharas which look disgusting. The Dior's which look great, but they are super expensive. And you can't forget the OG of OG knockoff rip-offs, Rick Owen, Ramones. I may get flamed in the comments for saying that, but let's be honest, they basically look like Converse. But with enough of the rambling, let's just get into this video. And without further ado, today we are talking about the xVESSEL G.O.P lows in the black colorway, which is the most hypebeasty colorway because it's the one that just keeps selling out. So, with the intro out of the way, let's get into the box. So, considering this was supposedly like a knockoff kind of thing, I should probably stop saying knockoff, it's kind of its own thing at this point. I was actually quite happy that they actually put some effort into the packaging. So we've just got this sort of raw cardboard colored packaging around the entire sides of the box. And then on the top of the box, we've actually got this almost like mail stamp with xVESSEL written on it. I'm not sure if that's on the camera, but let's hope it is. And what's really interesting is on the back of the box, we've actually got this, and I actually looked up how to say it, we've got this lenticular print of the xVESSEL brand and a flame graphic. So when you move it up and down, it looks like your shoes are catching fire. Not quite, but that's basically how it is. And it's a lid style box, and once the lid comes off, we'll get into the goodness that is the insides of the box. There we go. So once the lid is off, the first thing you're actually greeted with is what I thought was actually a tote bag initially, but it's actually just a sheet of canvas with some xVESSEL branding on it. It's interesting, but I don't know why they'd include it, but I'm not complaining. And then we've got this sort of like slightly waxed brown paper, and the shoes are stuffed with pretty standard feeling packing paper. So no extra laces, you get an extra sheet of canvas for, I guess, your painting needs. And if we move to the label, it reads xVESSEL-001. It doesn't say GOP low, but at least on the website it does. So, the retail price on these. The retail price on these are actually quite expensive. Not quite Dior levels, but a little bit more than, say, like Revenge Storms. So, at least for myself, shipped, I ended up paying around 403 Australian dollars. And I think the US dollar prices were like 260 Australian dollars. I'll put all the conversions and stuff here. And to be fair, 260 USD or like 400 Australian dollars is quite a hard pill to swallow. However, I really, I'll get into my opinions about it later, but I do think this is quite a special shoe. So that is why I ended up paying the price for it. So yeah, with the box out of the way, let's get into the shoes. And here we are. The xVESSEL G.O.P low in the black colorway. So the probably easy way to describe this is basically a Converse low that has been distressed and has had multiple rubber overlays sandwiched on top of each other. So if we look at the upper, the canvas they use is actually pretty similar to regular Converse. We've just got this black canvas that covers most of it. And along all the seams, we've actually got all this unfinished thread that hangs off each of the edges. It's an interesting look, and actually, the thing I wanted to point out, on my right shoe, it seems ultra distressed, which is kind of odd, but it's a pretty cool look nonetheless. And then we've got the signature like Converse toe cap, and in this particular case, on the toe cap, we've actually got peace, as in world peace, by piece, as in a piece of a puzzle, written on the toe. And I guess it's a cool play on words, piece by piece, putting the shoe together, or piece by piece. I'm gonna stop rambling. On top of all the weird stuff going on with the upper, there is some craziness going on with the midsole, actually. So this is probably the most striking feature of this particular shoe. We've just got this mismatch of multiple layers that just sort of stick around, and in some places it's layered up almost 3 times, some places only once. And even in this one part on the outside of the shoe, we've actually got the exposed cork. And apparently the cushioning inside along with the insole is actually cork, so that's pretty cool. And one detail that I actually really like about this shoe is they've actually got the size tag completely done in like a piece of rubber slapped on the side. And it's got this little phrase underneath that says, "Handsome but meaningless, quality infused, made with love 2018 by xVESSEL." So I thought that was pretty cool. And then moving to the outsole, because they do really want to get hit, I think, with any sort of lawsuits, the outsole is completely different from a regular Converse. It's actually, it looks almost like a crepe sole, but I don't think it is. It's quite firm. And it seems like a pretty sticky rubber, but aside from that, I wouldn't say too much about the outsole. Most of the craziness are these loose threads and this really over-the-top layering. So that pretty much covers the main features of this particular shoe. Now in terms of sizing, I must say the sizing has been a real pain because I couldn't really find too much information when I was buying the shoe. Full disclosure, I did buy multiple pairs of this shoe, and I bought them in like a 42 and 43 and 41 just to make sure that I wouldn't get the wrong sizing. I expected the 42 to fit, but actually it turns out that the 43 seems to fit me pretty much perfectly. So I'd probably say maybe true to size, because at least here this says the 43 is a men's 9.5 and I'm typically a US 9.5. So maybe just go off that kind of information. If you need any more information, just leave it in the comments below. So I am typically a US 9.5 in most of my sneakers. I bought these in a Euro 43, which translates to a men's 9.5, and they fit me good. Now, in terms of comfort, I actually find that these shoes are a bit more comfortable than regular Converses. It's a combination of the insole, which is actually really thick, as well as I think the dual cork layers that lie hidden underneath the shoe. But the cushioning underfoot is actually really nice. I must say though, with all the overlays and layers, the shoe is actually really heavy. I would actually compare it to like a 6-inch Tim if there was like a low top version of it. It sort of feels like that. And the upper itself, the canvas feels pretty much on point with a regular Converse, so not exactly the most breathable thing, but it's not hot and it's fairly flexible. But with all the overlays, the shoe actually isn't that flexible, but because of the wedge shape, it seems to be okay walking around. So overall, I would say honestly, for a Converse knockoff, it's actually surprisingly good. Now I'll get into the part of the video where I talk about my opinions of this shoe. And I think the best way to do this would probably be to describe how I first encountered this shoe. I was actually at a Hungry Jack's and I just saw someone out the corner of my eye walk next to me, and I thought, oh, those are some interesting oh my god, what are those? And it was really interesting. The shoe, when you're looking at it in hand, I honestly don't think does that much justice, to be honest. But once you see it on feet and like in outfits and everything, I think this shoe looks extremely beautiful actually. It's got this very grungy look with all the distressing and overlays. It's very exaggerated. It's very... I'm kind of losing my words actually. But honestly, like, normally I'm not the kind of person that really likes to mess around with like these kind of like designer-esque rip-offs of like just much cheaper shoes. But you know, everyone has their limits sometimes, and I got caught in the crossfire of this particular shoe and I ended up buying it. So overall, I'd say if this is like the kind of aesthetic that you rock with, like if you're kind of into that more grungy aesthetic, I feel like this would be like a perfect addition to that kind of ensemble. But yeah, that's pretty much what I have to say about it. And with that, we've come to the end of another video. So I'd love to hear what you guys think of the xVESSEL G.O.P lows in the black colorway. And out of all the colorways that are actually available, which are your favorites? So for myself, I would say easily the black is probably my favorite, but a close second I would say is the burgundy pair. I feel like not many people like that pair, but it's fire. It is super hot fire. But I'd love to hear what you have to say. Like the video if you like the video, dislike the video if you dislike the video, and if you're into more sneaker content and that sort of thing, consider subscribing to the channel. And I'll just leave it at that. Time for the on feet, and I'll catch you guys in another video.